Well, let me tell you, in the past, whenever lawyers decide to march, it is only when we believe there is a very serious problem. It doesn't happen every year, as you probably realize. It happens only when we think there is a major crisis that needs addressing. And we think at this point in time, there is such a crisis of confidence.
I was actually in my office on my computer when a friend of mine called me up and said that shit has hit the fan.
What do we want? Justice! What do we want? Justice! What do we want? Justice!
Lawyers are not militant people. We are ordinary citizens. We are very peaceful. But this time we really wanted to tell the government that we were really serious.
What do you want? Justice! What do you want? Justice! What do you want? Justice! What do you want? Justice!
Anyway, the issue of judiciary is way too serious for us to just send another press statement.
What do you want? Justice! What do you want? Justice! What do you want? Justice!
We had to do something radical. Previously, the council had sent numerous memoranda to the government pertaining to the judiciary.
What do you want? Justice! What do you want? Justice!
All our recommendations and all our proposals for reform have been turned down. It appears that the government has not been listening to us, and we wanted that to change.
Who are we? Who are we? Who are we?
Never thought that the bar will actually, at this point in time, do something as adventurous as this, and as brave as this.
Who are we? Who are we? Who are we?
This is really where it all started, at the Bar Council, where the decision was made to march when the tape was revealed.
You see, he has now asked for 6 court of appeal judges so that he can put his man before he retire. Correct.
Well, I was absolutely livid and furious because here was evidence being revealed of a senior lawyer having had a hand in the appointment of a Chief Justice. And it was being reported in the papers almost in a cavalier manner. Well, to be honest, I didn't walk with change in mind. I walked because I was angry and furious. And I wanted effectively to say to the people who were sitting in the corridors of power, listen, you are a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And so we, the people, we are here in front of you to remind you of that.
The lawyers were supposed to gather here at Dataran Merdeka to board the bus to go over to Putrajaya. By the time I was here, there were only a handful of lawyers. However, by the time we were supposed to leave for Putrajaya, there were about 100 to 200 people at least congregated. But I didn't think that that was sufficient to actually make a stand to the government as to what we wanted them to do. I participated in the walk because I truly believed that the video clip had a serious impact on the integrity of the judiciary. The walk would have basically woken the masses of people who are in denial that there is a rot in the judiciary.
that my reputation would be affected if I didn't walk, because all the values that we supposedly stand for, justice, encourage to speak the truth, all these would be meaningless if I was sitting behind my desk and my brothers and sisters were marching.
The only fear I had was the fear of arrest, because there were numerous complaints against the police of brutality against lawyers and things like that. And the walk basically represented an affront to some extent against the government's inaction of investigating on the video clip.
Some categorize the walk as an illegal possession because we didn't get the permit under the Police Act. But I consider it as an act of civil disobedience, a public display of dissent against the government's lack of political will to bring about positive changes to the judiciary. Our buses were stopped. There were few policemen here. They didn't allow us to proceed further. And we get off from the bus. We discussed with the police as to whether we can still proceed. They said they received instructions from their superior that all buses were not allowed to proceed. And then a few of us, we discussed and we decided to just walk from here on to the Palace of Justice.
Okay. Alright, so can I just make a quick announcement? We will be walking from here to the Palace of Justice. We think it's about 3 to 4 kilometers, so please bear with us. No problem. There's no other route in. Our buses have been red flagged. They won't allow the buses to go in, so we'll walk from here. Alright? Okay. Come. Please come to the front. Get your badge, hat, and armband.
I was in my office when I received a call from Rajan, Bar Council Executive Officer. He asked whether I've watched the video clip and whether I've read the article on Malaysia Kini. When I checked out the website, I was furious, I was livid. Then I called up Edmund. I told him we have to do a march of protest. He is supportive of the idea and he said he'll raise it with the council. I made several calls and I posted an article on the Malaysian Bar website. It received an overwhelming response. I was adamant at that point of time to walk with or without the council's approval. People were also supportive of the idea. They asked me when and where. But when Edmund told me that the council agreed to have the walk, and I was happy. A few of us, we get together and we strategized the whole walk. We had to do something radical. In the past, the Bar Council had sent numerous memoranda to the government pertaining to the judiciary. But all our calls fell on deaf ears. So this time we had to do something drastic, radical. When we walk, we were heard, we were noticed, not only by the government, but by the Malaysian public.
Okay, this is essentially the route that we took when we got off from the buses. So this is one of the many bridges that we passed on the way to Palace of Justice. At this point, it's already about 2 miles of walking, and there's still quite a long way to go. Okay, essentially we knew that we were going to be dealing with a fairly large number of people. We weren't sure of the numbers, but we thought at least 500. So we actually had a security team in place. Okay, the planning stages, essentially we had to work out the program. What we actually wanted to do for the day, what we want to do at the Palace of Justice, and then later what we want to do at the PM's office. So that's the program. But in addition to that, we had to sort out all the other logistical problems involved, like the number of buses, where we would meet, because some people were going to meet at Dataran itself and some people were going to go straight to the Palace of Justice. Then we also had to discuss issues like all the paraphernalia, the issue of the banners, the caps, the badges, the issue of whether or not to wear a band. So those are some of the main things. And then finally we had to discuss all the contingency, like for example, what if the police stopped the buses, what would we do? And then we decided to walk, but we never knew that actually it's going to be so far. People are going straight there? People are going straight there?
People are going there, what time do we decided to be 10?
POJ.
No, last week 9.
9. No, the walk's supposed to start at 11.
Write it down, because 9. The POJ is.
After the buses were stopped, we walked 4 kilometers right up to this bridge. This is the second bridge, and we will continue walking right down to the Palace of Justice. Lawyers are not militant people, we are ordinary citizens, we are very peaceful. But this time we really wanted to tell the government that we were really serious. All our recommendations and all our proposals for reform have been turned down. It appears that the government has not been listening to us, and we wanted that to change. We believe that Section 27(5) of the Police Act is unconstitutional, it's against human rights principles, and we took the decision to walk. And we wanted to show the Malaysian public that we can have a peaceful assembly without any public disorder, even without a permit. The Human Rights Committee of the Bar Council for the past 2 years have been organising walks from Dataran Merdeka to Lake Gardens on Human Rights Day. So it's been done 2 years in a row, but in a massive procession to hand a memorandum to the Prime Minister, this is the first time.
I took part in the first march that the bar was involved in, which was in April 1981, when we were protesting about the amendments to the Societies Act. What happened then was the Bar Council office bearers were allowed to present a memorandum to the members of Parliament in Parliament House in Kuala Lumpur, and about 100 lawyers waited outside Parliament Gate, and we were singing and having a good time protesting about the bill. And 42 lawyers, including myself, were subsequently charged 2 years later for participating in a public assembly without a license, and we were found guilty and admonished and cautioned. In 1998, during the course of Anwar Ibrahim's first criminal trial, Justice Augustine Paul sentenced Zainul Zakaria, who was one of Anwar's lawyers, to jail for contempt of court. And that resulted in an immediate march or walk by about 200 lawyers to the courts. And that was not organized by the Bar Council, it was impromptu and held on that day. The other occasion was in 2006, when about 100 lawyers protested by walking, and the protest was with the way the police were treating criminal lawyers who were discharging their duties and dealing with their clients and advising their clients, were meeting hurdles and obstacles, and all the peaceful channels of communication that the Bar Council had engaged with the police were not yielding the results, and so the march took place. this is where the walk began. From about 10 o'clock in the morning, lawyers started assembling and congregating, and by about 11:30 we were about 1,000 strong, and our president, Miss Ambika Srinivasan, gave an inspiring speech.
First of all, I'm overwhelmed by the members of the bar, but I always had faith. I had faith that you would all rise to the occasion when it counted. And once again, members of the Malaysian bar have done just that, and I'm so proud of you.
Okay, we knew there's going to be quite a large crowd. We didn't know how many, but we knew probably in excess of 500.
What do we want? Justice! What do we want? Justice!
Members.
Justice!
Thank you, members. Members. Yesterday, the government announced the setting up of an independent panel. I welcomed it because I think it is a positive move in the right direction, that they have recognized that there is a problem. And we are fair. If we think there is a positive response, we must support it. And that's why I supported it. Of course, we feel that a Royal Commission of Inquiry is a better option, and that is what our memorandum is going to say. So what are we doing here today? What are we walking for? We are not walking for a video clip. We are walking for justice. We are walking because we want judicial reform. We are walking because we believe that we can have a first world judiciary, and we deserve a first world judiciary. That's why we are walking. Lawyers don't walk every day. They don't walk every month. They don't even walk every year. This is the third time lawyers are walking. When lawyers walk, something is wrong.